Alright, Jurassic World Evolution 3 just announced the Jurassic World Rebirth Expansion. This is a brand new expansion coming to the game, the first expansion, which introduces a variety of new species, variants, skins, scenery pieces, a new kind of heating and electricity system, and a whole lot more. But first, let's take a look at the announcement trailer in case you haven't seen it already.
Il Saint-Hubert, site of top-secret scientific operations. A place where prehistoric marvels could thrive under our watchful eye. We were pioneers, where the cutting edge of creation and modern-day research could coexist. At least, that was the vision for this place. What actually happened there, when it didn't go to plan, was a different story entirely.
Alright, so this is Jurassic World Evolution 3, the Rebirth Expansion. This is what everybody has been wanting. This is what everybody has been waiting for. We have gone through thick and thin to actually get here. We have had stuff with Universal going on in the past few months. It has been 5 months, almost 6, since the actual last DLC overall, like all the way back in December. And we are now here with what everybody has wanted for this game, Jurassic World Rebirth Expansion. The 4 brand new species that are coming in this expansion are the Titanosaurus, the Aqualops, the Distortus Rex, and the Mutodon, and a bunch of different variants and skins, including Velociraptor, T-Rex Ember, Spinosaurus, 3 different named variants, Quetzalcoatlus, Mosasaurus, and Dilophosaurus. This pack will be released on June 16th and will go for about $25. This is everything, and it looks absolutely amazing. I think this is that a lot of people are going to be satisfied with this. Thank you so much to Frontier for giving me early access to all of this, so I can showcase it for you guys earlier. So yeah, let's get right into it here. So first of all, we are met with this beautiful key art of the DLC. You can see right away the star that is the D-Rex, and we have of course the new feature of like the Jeep using the flare to guide the D-Rex away, or towards it, I guess. As we see in the film at the end. I won't be going over the free update features because this was like over a week ago that they were announced. So basically one of them was that you can use the flares to navigate or kind of guide species towards somewhere else where you're going. Because, fun fact, the D-Rex actually cannot be tranquilized, which I hope this is a way to turn off in sandbox mode, because that is incredibly annoying. I don't exactly know how this like thing works yet with like the Jeep and like the flare and stuff. I'm hoping it's easy, but like I really hope there's a way to turn this off, because it would be kind of frustrating to not be able to move this thing by tranquilizing it in like sandbox when you're just trying to like move it into an enclosure. So that's kind of a problem, but maybe it's easier once we actually get into it, but I guess we'll see. Moving on from the key art, we have screenshots of what we actually see. So I guess we'll probably go through the trailer first and we will go through what we see. So opening up the trailer, we have the adorable Aqualops little family unit here. The Aqualops does come with the full family unit, so you get the male, female, and the babies, of course including the movie skin that we see, Dolores, in the Jurassic World Rebirth film. We can see a few of the colors here looking absolutely amazing. We have the iconic 2025 skin that is standing up, as well as a kind of bluish pattern, a yellowish pattern, and a purplish pattern. Overall, look really good so far. I love the standing animation, just as we see in the movie. Looks very accurate. Beautiful. Moving on from that, we move forward and we see this wide shot of Isla Saint-Hubert facility, which is kind of that opening shot that we see in the first part of the movie. We see this giant hydroelectric dam. We can see it. We have rockwork there. We can see a few like of the new geothermal pipes, which we'll get to in a second. As well as a lot of new buildings like emergency shelters, and a lot of buildings with new kind of variants or new prefabs, I guess, with them that give off this kind of like more concrete with like the grass panels aesthetic to match the area of the forest and that vibe we see in the film itself. Now we move on to this establishing shot of the Titanosaurus with its incredibly long tails, very dramatic, very diva-like. These guys look absolutely beautiful. We see the sails, of course, and the iconic kind of look of them here. I feel like they honestly made like the necks of them a bit shorter than they are in the film, and I kind of understand that if they did, because in the film they are absolutely ginormous. You can barely actually get them in the frame or in the shot. But here they're like a bit smaller in the neck. Maybe it's just me. Again, they look amazing regardless, beautiful. And then we move on to kind of like this little portion of the trailer where we see, of course, first of all, brand new scenery. We have the new temple kind of scenery looking amazing. And here we see the first shot of the very ominous and beautiful Quetzalcoatlus with the Rebirth variant on it. We see the little beak there. Absolutely beautiful. This is probably my favorite of the new species, or the new kind of skins or whatever included in this expansion, because I love the look of the Quetzalcoatlus in this film. It looks amazing. And then of course we see the iconic, one of the most requested species from the movie since it was released in this game, and that is the Spinosaurus from Rebirth. And these are like almost basically paleo-accurate kind of Spinosaurus, or the closest we're going to get to a paleo-accurate Spinosaurus in the game, because we are stuck with the Jurassic Park 3 Spinosaurus. And this guy looks, these look amazing. As far as we can tell, they look beautiful. We can see all of them in this kind of wide shot. You can see there are 3 skins. If you zoom in there, you have one with a stripe going across the horizontally. You can see another one with like almost completely yellow across the sails. That's like the one with the vertical stripes. And then we have one on the left that is almost completely gray with a few highlights. So those are of course the 3 different variants of the Spinos. And then we move forward and we move into this a lot more dark, cryptic kind of atmosphere of the trailer, which of course we get introduced to the mutants. Probably the biggest part of the trailer, which we see the hand of the Distortus Rex being very ominous. We see a Mutodon flying around in this kind of moonlit kind of area with, of course, more cool new kind of like security type, I guess, scenery buildings, looking absolutely amazing. A lot of things on fire, of course. And then we see this iconic shot of the Mutodon foot coming down there. It'd be really cool if you had like the juice can or whatever on the floor like it happens in the movie. I don't think that would happen though, because that's a lot of work, but nonetheless it looks absolutely amazing. And then we are met with our first wide or actually good shot of the Mutodon, which looks absolutely incredible. I love it. It looks very like movie accurate, amazing. And we even see like the sign and stuff in the back that like references the gas station from the film, which looks, again, very good, very accurate. I love that they're kind of paying homage to the actual movie. Very great, even in the environments. Beautiful. And then, of course, we see the final shot of the trailer, but the Jeep targeting and trying to lure the Distortus Rex, which we can see kind of this cool shot of it in the moon. We see better looks of it in the art for the pack, but we see it chasing after the Jeep. And then we see the beautiful, like the amazing, like the very ominous shadow of the D-Rex roaring with the very ominous roar. And that is the whole trailer. That is the trailer for the Rebirth expansion. And now we're going to look quickly at the screenshots that I was also given by Frontier, that is also on Steam if you would like to check them out. Alright, so starting with this, we have the showcase of the Aqualops family unit. You can see we have a little family little here. We have the female on the right, which is of course Dolores with the movie accurate skin. On the left would be the male. I can't see too many differences with like the sexual dimorphism, just a bit more vibrant mainly. I mean, you can't really tell that much with like the female having the movie accurate skin, so it's not really a fair way to judge. And then of course you see the little baby in the middle looking absolutely adorable, very nubby, very cute. And then we move forward to a not so cute shot, and that is the Distortus Rex. And this is what I was talking about. You get a lot better of a look at it here, and it looks absolutely amazing. I love this shot. This is probably my favorite shot because it looks very cool, very nice, and it's so intense. Like the storytelling, you can feel it, like the action and everything here. It looks amazing. 100% looks beautiful. I think this is actually the Jeep that is in the movie. There is a new Jeep skin that is coming in the pack, and that gives you, I believe, the Jeep that the guy takes at the end of the movie. Moving on from that, we have a wide scale shot of one of the new locations in the campaign. This is like a very wide open field that we have the beautiful Dinosaurs herd here. And of course in the movie you see hundreds of them, which is a bit unrealistic in my opinion, so I'm glad they winded that down a bit. And of course we can see the little baby Titanosaurus on the bottom as well, which we'll get a better look at in a second. Here we have another shot of the kind of hydroelectric dam. We can see some stuff with like the pipes and everything down there. Again, there is a new kind of electricity system, and I think it's pretty cool how it works in this. It is basically kind of like the geothermal energy that we see in the movie with all the different pipeworks. So basically you can use geothermal vents or like ventilation systems to connect them to other points like splitters so that can split off energy, kind of like a electricity grid, or you can attach them to generators that will resupply that power and give it more to spread out throughout the park. So it's really interesting. You have to kind of like think ahead of what you want to power and where you can actually do the paths correctly so that you don't have to spend extra money or like confuse yourself with all your organization. In this image, you can see a lot of scenery pieces here. You can see a lot more industrial kind of pieces, some that we already have, some that are new. There's a lot of new scenery pieces in this update, in this expansion pack. I don't think there's too many in this screenshot, but there's probably there's a lot you can see in the trailer as well. So moving on from that, we have the Mutadons, and this is something that is really interesting. I did not expect this. Is like truly something that I was really surprised. Everything else that we've seen so far I was really kind of expecting from like a pack like this, but this is something I wasn't really expecting. This is a new type of enclosure that is basically not really a new type, but this is a variant of one of the existing enclosures you can make, which are aviaries, and this allows for you to get rid of the domes of aviaries, and instead you can transform an aviary to a open air aviary, which means that instead of a dome being there, you can take off the dome and it'll instead make kind of like a force field kind of projection that will basically act almost like the aerial deterrent system from the 6th movie, the Dominion movie, and basically it'll provide a force field so that the species cannot get out or can't really go past that force field as long as it is on. And this is interesting because apparently the Mutadon does not like to be enclosed in aviaries or any other enclosure aside from this. So it's interesting that they like the fresh air, or something like that. But like they don't like to be enclosed in like an industrial building, which is why they don't like aviaries. And they don't like, you obviously can't house them in a regular enclosure because they will fly off. So I think it's pretty interesting that you have to find a way to manage and kind of rearrange yourself to put yourself in a new position to take care of this specific unique animal. And from what I've seen, this is probably one of the most difficult animals that they've done to kind of make work in the game. So overall, how it's implemented, it looks very good, and I think I'm pretty impressed with how they've actually done it here. Moving on from this, we have another shot at a different facility. This is apparently a facility that would be kind of built onto the river raft scene. So you have the connection of the river, but you also have this kind of facility that is kind of hidden away from the film, that you instead have a lot more buildings. You have just generically a lot more stuff. Another kind of like dam or kind of like waterway that you can take along your way for using the Jeep. And yeah, not too much to say about this one. Moving on from here, you have our last two shots, which are both of the Titanosaurus. Now in this shot, you have the two adults, and you can really see the sexual dimorphism here, at least I think, is that the male is in the back with a lot more vibrant patterns in the body, as well as kind of like the sails look a lot more vibrant. It could just be the sun, that is very possible. And then you have the female, I would assume, in the forefront here, looking absolutely amazing. I love the shot. It looks beautiful, very peaceful, love it. And then move on to our final screenshot, and that is more Dinosauruses, this time showcasing the adorable baby right here in the bottom here, looking absolutely adorable. We have, I would assume, again, the two in the back are females, and the one up here is the male, looking at a bit more brighter head crest and a sail. And it's a bit more like pointing upwards, maybe, so maybe that could also hint at it being a male instead. And you can, of course, see some new scenery. There is also stuff that is not shown in these screenshots that is being left for later on to be revealed, and that includes the T-Rex skin, which is Ember, which is a cosmetic skin, which means that you can change the colors and everything of it. You have the Spinosaurus, which is one new cosmetic actual model, which includes 3 movie skins from the movie, of course, and then you also have the 12 different colors and 6 patterns, so of course you can also change the colors and stuff of them. The Mosasaurus is another one that you have the 1 new movie skin, but you can change the colors of, so it's a cosmetic. Quetzalcoatlus is also the same, 1 new movie skin, you can change the colors and cosmetics. Dilophosaurus is just 1 movie skin, and the Velociraptors are 2 new movie skins, focusing on both the male and the female. As far as also gameplay, there is a lot coming in the campaign and just in general. First of all, of course, we talked about the geothermal power and the open air aviaries. There is, of course, new scenery that is going to be coming in from a lot of different stuff, including the gas station, the Aztec temple stuff, as well as the generic kind of new under lockdown building scenery pieces. Other than that, there are two things that we didn't talk about, and that is assignments. These are new, kind of more a flexible campaign structure, which includes assignments and tasks that you can choose to take on instead of being forced to take on missions one at a time. And finally, the last thing that I think is kind of interesting is experimental traits. So this is different than other traits and like genetic modifications that you can have in the game. You can add traits to kind of experiment how what does to a creature. One example of this that I think will be really interesting is that you could have a raptor that, again, of course, a lot of species in the game are poisonous already. They have that trait, like the Troodon and Compsognathus, but you can add that trait now, like a poison trait, to like a Velociraptor or another species and see how that affects your game. That is something that's kind of like really interesting. You can kind of like test what works well with others, because the whole point of this update and the whole point of the movie that it's trying to bring home is kind of experimenting and testing with like power and like genetic power. So very interesting for that. But yeah, also remember everything that is coming in the free update, such as the T-Rex now being able to be swimming, the custom perch points and aviaries. There's a lot of improvements in aviaries in general, of course, including the open air aviaries as an option. Flare for ranger vehicles, as we saw. New drone additions, which are like these scanning and analysis tools. There's the Sierradactylus coming back. There is non-grid scenery pieces coming. Lights can now be turned on during the day. And there is 35 new Rebirth themed rocks, which are in the free update, not in the DLC, which I think is very kind of them as well. So that is everything that is coming in this pack. Everything on here is dropping on the 16th of June. The free update will of course be free to everyone, while the DLC will be priced at $25. There's a lot here. I think everyone's going to be pretty happy with it. They've done a lot to kind of prepare for this, and I'm really honestly impressed with what they've done. So with that out of the way, I'm going to have to leave you guys off here. I hope you all have enjoyed. If you did enjoy this video, please hit the subscribe button. Again, thank you Frontier for letting me show this to everyone with the early access and everything, so I can get this out. If you did enjoy this video and you want to see more content on Jurassic World Evolution 3 or Planet Zoo, we do have a lot of stuff on Planet Zoo. Please hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, and I will promise I will not disappoint. We also have memberships going on the channel, so if you did not know about that, you can check that out if you want. And I will see you guys all in the next one. Bye guys, and have a great rest of your day. I will see you on June 16th for the launch of the Rebirth Expansion.